Welcome to Mancave Project. So this is a review of our Tuin log cabin, which is just behind me because we've had it for a few years now. Right, so we erected this log cabin 3 years ago, bought it from a company called Tuin. The customer service at the time was fantastic. I had a little bit of an issue, and I'm not surprised because of the complexity of the kit that comes. I had a little bit of an issue with one piece missing. The customer service then, so post purchase, was absolutely fantastic. So I've got no issues with Tuin whatsoever. This review is all about the log cabin, which has now been up 3 years. So I think that's a long enough time to see the quality of the log cabin and if there are in fact any issues. It's great buying one of these log cabins, but of course you want to know how long they're going to last. So just to recap, the log cabin is the Tuin Rose 5 meter by 5 meter, purchased in December 2018, arrived January 2019, and took about 3 weekends in total, so about 6 days to complete from start to finish. That doesn't include the building of the base. The major time consumption was with the roof. A lot of nails go into hammering that roof down. The actual sides of the log cabin were quite easy to do and went up quite quickly as well. So this is a review 3 years in. As I said, I think that's long enough to see whether there are any issues. So first thing we're going to do is I'll do a short review now of the build process, very quick review of that, and then we're going to have a look around the log cabin, see if there are any issues at all. So the log cabin itself is in superb condition. It's held up really well. I know it's only been 3 years, but it's held up really well. The cabin was preserved, so preservative was put on it within a month of it actually being put up, and then it's had a second coat of that about 12 months ago. So in the next, probably this summer, I'm going to place another coat on top, and the coats were 2 coats of stain, 1 coat of decking oil. The front fascia is probably the thinnest wood in the kit. That's held up really well. Presume after maybe 5 or 6 years you're going to have to look at replacing that. Actual logs themselves, it's quite a unique locking system for these logs that ensures that no water gets through to the inside. They're holding up really well, no gaps at all. The sacrificial wood, the pieces that they give you to place on the base, they're holding up really well also. And the rear of the log cabin, where it is very sheltered, it's almost looks brand new, and I don't think that the fascia board on this will need replacing for quite some time. So the shingle pack for the roof has held up really well. We did have some shingles come off in a severe storm a couple of years ago on the other side of this roof. One thing I have learnt is that we got this as a at a reduced price because it was winter, because not many people are stupid enough to erect something like this in the middle of winter. What I would say is the shingles actually stick together through heat from the sun, because they have like a tar finish on the underside. Because it was winter, that didn't happen. If I was doing this again and putting those shingles on in winter, I would definitely use a blowtorch on a low setting just to heat up the shingles when they're in place, so that tar underneath the shingles actually starts to melt and glue the shingles down. Only real criticism, and I'm being quite picky, is the centre of that roof has just sagged slightly. Not much though, you can't really tell on the inside, but I can tell from the outside, but it hasn't had any detrimental effect at all on the structure of the log cabin. Doors and window have fared very well. The doors do suffer a little bit because it's obviously a natural product. They do suffer a little bit with swelling through the winter, so it can be quite difficult to close, but just pushing the bottom of the door makes sure that you get a nice seal. One thing that Tuin, and I suppose all the other log cabin manufacturers, warn you about is how much this natural wood product can actually expand through the different seasons. So I made a mistake of attaching things to the inside of the log cabin, which they tell you not to, so they almost lifted off the ground. Just a very, very well made product. Very pleased with it. So I'd like to say there was other issues, but there isn't. Completely dry inside, never had a single leak on the inside, either down the wall or through the roof, and it is just holding up really, really well. Okay, so we're on the inside of the log cabin now. This is what I mean by the expansion. So you can see how much this log cabin has expanded after the walls have been painted, and it's even more than that in certain cases. The inside of the log cabin just still looks brand new. Very, very, very good quality. One half is being used as storage at the moment, and the other half is a gymnasium. So 5 metre by 5 metre gives you a lot of options on what to do. One or two things, so I don't know if you can see this, but the stain on the outside does tend to come in at weep holes, but that's just a very minor thing. Obviously this is a natural product, so you'd expect something like that, but superb. It's a fantastic space, whether you're using it for storage, as a home office, as a gymnasium, hobbies, crafts. Obviously there's a lot of uses for something like this. Alright, so a 3-year review then. Tuin as a company and the products that they sell. Well, Tuin, I haven't had any dealings with them for roughly about 2.5 years, coming up to 3 years. So obviously things can change in that time with the company, but I doubt it. Absolutely fantastic. The customer service is second to none, not just before they take you money, but afterwards as well. They just seem very keen to sort any issues out. The product itself, really, really high quality. This isn't the thickest logs. I think these are 42 mil, so it's not the thickest logs that they do, but I can see this lasting another 10, 12, maybe even another 15 years. Really good quality product, delivered by a really helpful person. It's a massive pack when it comes, especially for something like this, a 5 metre by 5 metre, so make sure you've got somewhere to actually put it as you bring it all around the back. But from delivery to the after sales service, absolutely fantastic, and we are really pleased with the outcome and the product. Can't really fault them on anything. The unfortunate thing is that prices have, I think, almost doubled for everybody, not just with Tuin but all the other log cabin manufacturers, so that's the only downside following the pandemic. I'm going to do another video probably later today and upload that in a couple of days on the channel on the covered area that I've done for the barbecue and cooking area. I didn't do a build video, I wish I had have done, but I'll just go through the steps that I did to actually extend this log cabin. I think that might be useful. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do a lot more videos on DIY, on projects, anything I can think of for this channel. I really want to build it up, so your support will be greatly appreciated. And if you've enjoyed this particular video, hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching.